Most may say, good evening, dear devotees. Today, I'd like to tell you another story from Dhammapada. During the Buddha's time, there was two hermits or religious teachers. Religious teachers who were practicing religious way of life for many years. So one day, one of them gave up that way of life and became a layman. After that, he got a son, a baby born, and this baby was a son. Some strange things happened here. This son, the father took this boy with his wife and went to visit the ascetic who he left long ago. Then this ascetic saw and told, "May you live long." Then the parents can't understand. He told, "May you live long." He told to the parents. But the father asked, "Venerable sir, you know very long ago we both was working together, but why you say like this? May all of us live long. I want to know my son, whether he can live long or not." This ascetic never tell the truth, but he know if he tell the truth, he will hurt the parents. So what happened? He thought during that time the only master who can enlighten or protect this child, the Buddha. Then the ascetic told, "Now I only know Buddha can protect the child. Take this child to the Buddha." So when the father carried the baby and went to see the Buddha, when came to see the Buddha, he paid respect. All of you know that the Buddha has a divine, they call divine eye, means he can understand earlier. So the Buddha understand, and then the Buddha told, "When you go home, near your entrance, make a small pavilion and make a couch to put the baby. Then," he told, "I will send my disciples to your house for the recitation of Paritas for 1 week." Then the Buddha sent his disciples, some of them, and they keep on reciting the chanting for 1 week. Actually to protect this baby, not to die, because the baby will die within 7 days. So on the 7th day itself, the Buddha went. This time some strange thing happened. The demon or the bad spirits are waiting near the door to attack this baby. I think due to previous karma. So the Buddha came, and when the Buddha appeared there, all the devas appear. When these devas appear, these demons cannot stand. They no choice, no power, so they left the place. So now the devas are very powerful, so no disturbance. Then next day, on the 7th day itself, the Buddha, the family, the father carried the baby and asked the Buddha, your disciple have recited this chanting, and now what do you think about this baby? Then the Buddha told, this baby will live up to 120 years old. True, 120 years old is life, very long life. So after that, when the boy grown up, one day the boy came to the monastery. So some of the bhikkhus who went there to recite when this boy was a baby, then they saw, oh, this is the boy, very young boy. Then they approached the Buddha and asked, Buddha, can this young man live for a long period? Then the Buddha told, one who respects elders or the wise people, virtues, they gain these blessings. Long life, happiness, energy, and long life, happiness, energy, and beauty. These four things. They gain long life, happiness, energy, and beauty. That's why there's a saying, Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Vadda Apachayano Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayu Vanno Sukang Balang. Ayu, long life. Sukang, happiness. Balang, energy. And beauty. Vanna is beauty. Beauty. Thank you very much.
There is something for you to learn from this story. He mentioned the child who was condemned by the astrologers, sages, having seen that he cannot live long. Then the Buddha also has seen the situation. But he found out a remedy for that, to overcome that problem. So what did he do? He asked his disciples or monks to go there and do some chanting for 1 week continuously to prolong his life. So he escaped because of this chanting. Now there is something for you to learn. We cannot overcome all our bad karmic effect simply by chanting or listening to the chanting. But there are certain karmas. There are 3 obstructions or hindrances that cannot support us simply by chanting or listening to the chanting. It's called karma-varana, nyaya-varana, klesa-varana. Avarana means obstruction. There are 3 obstructions that hinders the benefit of listening to the chanting. First thing is karma avarana. If we have committed a very heavy, very bad karmas, simply by listening or chanting the sutras, we cannot overcome the bad effect. If the karma is very heavy. So during our lifetime, we create different kinds of karma. Some are very heavy, weighty. Some are not that bad. Heavy karmas can topple all the other karmas and come forward to effect either good karma or bad karma. Ordinary karmas will be overcome by certain other karmas. Take for instance, we have done certain bad karma, but they are not very heavy or very bad karma. Then certain other good karmas that we have performed can overcome the bad effect of the bad karma that we have committed. The karma itself topple another karma. Here, chanting of sutras or listening the sutras support us to overcome certain karmas, not heavy karmas. Certain mistakes or certain bad karma that we have committed will be able to overcome through listening or chanting. If karma is very strong, we cannot do anything. Nobody, even the Buddha also cannot do anything. That is the nature of karma. The second one is klesa avarana. Klesa avarana. Klesa means defilement, mental impurities. There are so many evil thoughts in our mind. If our minds are very cruel and very wicked and very selfish and hatred or anger or enmity, evil forces are boiling in our mind. At that time, when we listen to any chanting or when we recite any chanting, we cannot experience a good result because the mind is deluded, polluted by the evil thoughts. No time to develop devotion, faith, confidence and understanding. The other one is Jnanavarana, understanding. We have no understanding or knowledge, the significance, the meaning, or the efficacy of chanting. Just listen. Now when you listen music, you entertain your emotion, but you never develop faith and devotion and confidence. Just listen and enjoy. Chanting also you can do in the same manner. Without developing devotion, confidence, faith and understanding, then you cannot experience a good result. So at any time, when you recite or when you listen, your mind must be ready to listen to this. And then the mind can relax, then develop faith and devotion. If understanding is there, so much the better. if you can understand what you recite or what you listen. These are the three hindrances. A strong karma hinders for us to gain good result. Our evil thoughts in the mind hinder the good result that we can gain through the chanting or listening. Lack of understanding, lack of devotion or confidence also hinders. These are the three kinds of hindrances. And the karma, just now we mentioned, we can overcome certain karmas by using our effort. If we keep quiet without using our effort, even the minor karma also can affect us. The mental energy, our effort, our understanding are very important to overcome certain bad karmas. Again, let us come back to the good karmas. Assume we have done some good karmas. If we do not use our effort, we won't be able to experience good result. The karma itself does not fruition if there is no effort. There's a nice saying for that in Sanskrit. Nahi suptasya sinhasya pravisanti mukhe mriga. Lion is the king of the beast of the jungle. Even then, if these lions just lie down and sleep whole day and night, animals never come and enter into the lion's mouth. He must use his effort to go out for hunting animals. Karma is like that. Karma itself doesn't function unless you use your effort. When you use your effort, then the karma will pave the way for you to gain what you need. Another beautiful saying, I think I have repeated this several times, but very important. Udyoginang purusa singha mupaiti lakshmi daivena daiva mitika purusha vadanti daivang nihatya kuru paurusha matma shaktya yatne krute adi nasiddhyati kotra dosa. This is also in Sanskrit language. Udyoga. Udyoga means effort. Effort, knowledge, understanding. These are the qualities of great people. Purusha Singha, lions of men, great people. These three qualities. Effort, knowledge, and understanding. Daivena daiva mitika purusha vadanti. Only foolish people say, our daiva, our fate, our good luck, our karma, our God provide everything what we need. So they depend on God, they depend on their own karma, they depend on their fate or good luck without using effort, knowledge and understanding. This scholars say they are foolish people. Daivam nihatya kurupa varusha mahatma satya. Whether there is God or not, whether there are karmas or not, whether there is fate or not, if you use your effort and energy and knowledge and understanding, you will gain what you want. Because there are many in this world, without depending on external forces or energies or this or that, they use their effort and knowledge, understanding, they gain what they need. Assume God exists. God doesn't do anything for us if we don't use our effort. That is why I told you our karma also never come forward to support us if we don't use our effort. On the other hand, if there is no God, if there is no karma, if there is no such thing as fate, if we use our effort and knowledge and understanding, we gain at least something. That means we use our human intelligence without depending on so many external forces. It is our weakness. We always go and ask something from others. One German scholar, his name is Dr. Paul Dahlke. He has written a beautiful book, Buddhism and Science. In his book he says, Buddhism is just like an adult, and all the other existing religions are just like small children. Can you understand the meaning? Why he says like this? Small children always depend on others. They do not know how to prepare even their food. They do not know how to do any work for their living. For everything they have to depend on elders. Therefore he says all the other religions are like small children, because asking from God, asking from somebody something. Buddhism is like an adult. An elderly person knows how to do many things, how to prepare their own requisite, necessary thing, without depending on others. Buddhism is like an adult. Do not depend on others for everything. Do not depend on Buddha also. Buddha has given the instructions, guidance, what to do. But we have to do that. So these are very meaningful sayings, because many people are very lazy. They have no understanding. Just go and pray and worship, asking this and asking that. I remember a married couple who had no children for many years. Almost every day go and ask the priest to pray for them to have a baby. So one day this priest really got fed up with this couple. Every day they come and ask this priest, pray for us, because we have no children. One day what he said, it seemed that you depend on God to get a child, that you people do not use your effort to get a child. You also must use your effort and see why you want to depend on God for everything. It is a joke, but very meaningful. Don't depend on God for everything. You also must use your effort. So, because of this, a story, you learn something. Page 59. Stanza 58 and 59. Two together. Yatha sankhara dhanasmin uddhitasmin mahapate padumang tattha jayeta suci gandhang manoramang evang sankhara bhutesu andha bhute putujjane atirocati paññāya sammā sambuddha sāvako yatha sankhara dhanasmin uddhitasmin mahapate padumang tattha jayeta suci gandhang manoramang evang sankhara bhutesu andha bhute putujjane atirocati paññāya sammā sambuddha sāvaka. Meaning, as upon a heap of rubbish thrown upon the highway, a sweet-smelling, lovely lotus may grow. Even so, amongst worthless beings, disciples of the fully enlightened one outshines the blind worldlings in wisdom. The meaning is, lotus plant always grows in dirty, muddy water, where there are dirt, very smelly. But when the plants grow, this lotus plant produces beautiful, fragrant, very lovely flower, lotus flower. Now this nice lotus flower, although originated from the dirty mud and water, now it is very pure, very lovely and very soft. Everybody like it. So in the same manner, those who are born in this dirty world, where there are a lot of evil, wicked, cruel, harmful, dangerous, ugly, immoral activities or mentalities, there will be few who come up from that dirty world to the surface and stand just like the lotus flowers that shoot up from the dirty, muddy water. It's a very meaningful saying of the Buddha. That is how lotus flower has become a Buddhist symbol. In every Buddhist country, people pay more respect to the lotus flower, especially in China. It's a real Buddhist symbol, lotus. For wisdom, they introduce this as symbol of wisdom, lotus flower. The world that we lead here, when we consider very deeply, we can understand this. Those who are dealing with worldly life, worldly pleasures, are known as Puthujjana. English word is worldling. Worldlings means those who are attached or bound to this world. So we are worldlings. We are bound to this world. But those who are free from this worldly life are known as Arahantas and the Buddhas. They are not Puthujjana or worldling. They have come up from the worldly life, sensual world, to lead a free, independent, meaningful life. They maintain peace, happiness and satisfaction in their life. But those who are dealing with worldly life never experience peace, never experience satisfaction in their life. In fact, no happiness also. What they experience as happiness is emotional satisfaction. It is not happiness. Emotional satisfaction means human beings have human emotion, not like animals. That emotion needs entertainment. When this emotion is aroused, entertained, then we laugh. Joking, laughing, and cheerfulness, pleasant looking, we take as happiness. It is not happiness. The emotion, experience, the entertainment. It is a fleeting nature, just like this, like lightning. Just laugh for a short while. Next moment, very sad occurrence may take place. Then we cry. This is the nature of our life. This moment we are laughing and joking. Within few minutes, we shout and fight. This is the nature of our emotion. So we are not free from this uncertainty in our life. This is the nature of worldly life, Puthujjana. Putujjana divide into two groups. Andha Putujjana and Kalyana Putujjana. Worldly people are divided into two groups. Andha Putujjana means those who do not know anything about their life, the world, the nature, just maintain some sort of imagination, that's all. No knowledge, no understanding, no wisdom. Because of that weakness, they suffer more. They crave more. They develop more selfishness. They develop more grudge or jealousy. They worry. They have more fear because they cannot understand. Now small children are always in fear because they can understand. But when they grow up, reduce that fear. Animals, birds and many living beings all are in fear. Always. When a dog or a cat lie down and relax without hitting the head in this way, that means that animal has full confidence. Otherwise never relax like this. Because always they are in fear. Any moment they are ready to get up and run. This is the nature of their life. But certain dogs and cats who are used to us, they relax in front of us when they have full confidence, otherwise never. But all the other living beings, birds, they never come near to us, scared. They are in fear. And a snake, simply we touch the tail like this, attack for nothing, because of fear. Elephant, such a huge animal, when we go into the jungle, they come and attack and kill us because of fear. So human beings also, they have a lot of fear in their mind. Because of this fear, they start to worship and pray and pray and pray, do some offerings and burning and burning and burning, and slaughtering animals. All these things they do because of that fear. If the fear is not there, they don't do all these things. Now, Arahantas, Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, they never pray or worship or do some offerings because they have no fear. They have completed their journey, ended their journey. They have attained perfection. But we have all these weaknesses, bro. Because we have to go, it's a long journey. We cannot see the end of this journey unless we prepare for that. So those who are in the dark, who do not know anything about their life, called andha, blind. Blind, worldly people. Two groups, that is the first group. The other group is called Kalyana Putujjana. Kalyana means those who know, those who can understand what is this life? What we are doing here? What we gain in the end? How to lead this life? Or how to make use of this life? They are called Kalyana Putujjana, understanding worldly people. So they have more privileges or facilities, chances to get rid of their worldly problems. But the other group have no chances unless they develop their understanding. Now, the purpose of your coming here, Friday, Sunday, full moon, new moon days, to attend various religious purposes, to become understanding worldly people. Every day you learn something, you realize something, then reduce certain misunderstanding or misconception that you had earlier. That is called learning. Learning means reducing what you have learned earlier from your childhood, certain misconceptions and wrong ideas. Otherwise you cannot learn anything. Again, the danger of worldly life is very dangerous. We know that. We experience it. But no other choice. Sambadhoyan gharavaso. Gharavasa, household life. Household life means worldly life where you can be full of responsibilities, burdens, duties, obligations. This is called household life. Families, husband, wife, children, relatives, friends, jobs, earning, and spending, and so many obligations, duties to fulfill, responsibilities, burdens, you cannot neglect. To fulfill all these things, you have to do something. When you are going to do something, your activities can become very harmful, very dangerous, very immoral, very wicked. That is the danger. You have to support your families. Then you have to do so many bad things. Stealing, bluffing, swindling, cheating, black marketing, telling lies. How many bad things you have to do? You say, oh, that is business. You know how to justify, that is for your living. But you know it is wrong. There is nobody in this world who can say it is right. But without practicing this kind of thing, you face some difficulties. Not enough income to fulfill your duties. That is the nature of worldly life. Responsibilities. Again, most dangerous activities such as robbery and murdering people, kidnapping people, try to earn more, either to enjoy their life or to fulfill their duties or responsibilities. without committing any evil or bad thing. Assume you want to do some cultivation. You want to cultivate a jungle, destroying the grass and the plants, and want to cultivate some fruits or vegetables. To do that, how many millions and billions and trillions of living beings you destroy? You know that. But no other choice. When you burn a certain area of a jungle, how many billions of living beings you burn? But the main purpose is not to burn them. When you dig the earth for planting, say paddy field or vegetable, how many millions of living beings you cut and kill while digging and charcoaling. You know, you can see. You have no other choice. This is the nature of worldly life. Whether you like or not, you have to do that. So when you come to business, no one can do business by upholding or maintaining honesty. Honesty and business, these two things never go together. Honest man always goes bankrupt. Yes. Become failure. And this is the nature of worldly life. Now you can understand the difficulty of cultivating virtues and good qualities and religious way of life. Here in this saying, what the Buddha says, the lotus plant originated in such dirty, muddy, filthy spot, but come up, produce beautiful lotus flower. Amongst millions of human beings, one or two may give up this worldly life. Oh, this is very troublesome, nuisance, burden, give up. And then try to lead a peaceful, contented life. Then get the chance to come up. Otherwise cannot come up. Contentment is the first quality we have to cultivate. What is contentment? Whatever you do, if you think this is enough for me, this is enough for me or for my family. The very moment when you created this in your mind, jealousy never appears in that mind. If you are contented, jealousy never appears in the mind. You allow others to enjoy their life. You are not greedy towards others' things because you have contentment. This is enough for me. I don't know to it. If no jealousy, you never get angry. We always get angry when there is jealousy, when there is no contentment. Why should I get angry? No reason. There is another saying of Socrates, I think, also very meaningful. If not Socrates, Confucius. He says, if a person admits his own mistake, he will never get angry. People get angry when we point out something that we have done something. That means he is not willing to admit that he has done that. If you admit, yes, I have done that, I am sorry, I have no anger. But people are not ready. They know they have done that. They want to justify, they want to fight, they want to argue, they want to beat also others because of that. Because they are not ready to accept, admit they have done this. That is our weakness. If you can say, yes, I had to do that, or I have done that, I know it is wrong, then no argument after that. So, Sambadhoyam gharavaso, household life, worldly life create enormous worries, fear, disturbances, insecurity feeling, how many things, and the duties, obligations, no end. Rajasa ayatanam iti, rajasa ayatanam become the main cause for all the dirty things. Rajas means dirty things. People are doing all the dirty things because of this worldly life. How many immoral practices are there in this world today? Human beings actually do not behave as humans. We can see inhuman attitude, sometimes worse than animals. Animals have principle because they follow the nature, natural way of life. We have violated, broken all the natural way of life and introduced very artificial, immoral, unhealthy way of life. This is the nature of worldly life. We are paying the price for that. All sort of sicknesses, new sicknesses that people have never heard long ago. More and more new sicknesses will come in time because of our behavior, our dirty attitude, our immoral practices. So physically and mentally, we are bankrupted, very badly affected. We have only artificial life, just show smiling face little bit, but cunningness, selfishness, wickedness, all the evil forces are boiling. Through religion we try to submerge and suppress and control this attitude. But circumstances, environment, temptation, irritation arouse these things, then flare up. No controlling power. That religious knowledge and understanding and determination is the only controlling power. Secretly, we can do any dirty thing, any wicked thing. When we escape, we think we are very clever. Very clever, we escaped. But we never think that we had to pay the price for what we have done. One day, either within this lifetime, just like Kalimuttu, he thought that he can escape, forever go on killing innocent people. He was caught. That Colombia, king of the drugs, drugs king in Colombia. He thought he can escape. He has violated, frightened the government also. He was shot dead like a dog. There will be a day they have to surrender. They have to pay the price, not hereafter, after this life. Because many of those evil doers have some good karma, what they have done during their previous birth. So the good karma support them. When that supportive karma is ended, had it. Cannot escape anymore, either within this life, if not hereafter. No one can escape. Rajasa ayatana, worldly life creates so many bad things. One day, how many times we tell lies? For what? That is our nature. How many times we get angry? Cannot escape, cannot avoid. How many times we get jealousy for others? But we won't gain anything. Abdhokaso pabbad. That renunciation of worldly life is just like space. The birds in the space. The birds can fly either this way or that way or without any disturbances. Birds never carry any suitcase or tablet or toothbrush or toothpaste. Nothing. They migrate from country to country. No passport, no suitcase, no clothing, just only 2 wings. They satisfy. They have contentment. They go there and find out some food, a shelter to settle down. So the renunciation from this worldly life is just like that birds who is free from all worldly bondages. Give up. Only 2 wings. Can go and stay anywhere, wherever he likes. This is the freedom that we experience. If we can reduce our bondages, we are bound to this world, cannot come out. Supposing now we are working to go to heaven or to nirvana, isn't it? What is the purpose of practicing your religion? Either to go to heaven or to nirvana. All right. Somebody come and ask you, all right, are you ready to go to heaven with me now? Sorry, I have to go home. I have to hand over this and that and my children, my wife, my husband, my bank account and my house, my last will and this and that. Sorry, today cannot. Nobody is willing to go to heaven today. But you are working to go to heaven. Because of the worldly bondages. Not even a single person is willing to go to heaven at this moment. Even a beggar, if he asks, he says, no, I got a lot of money in my collection. I cannot go to heaven. This is the nature of worldly life. So, what the Buddha said, we can appreciate and understand when we consider and analyze unbiasedly in this way. Yes, we know it is true, but we are not ready. No one is ready. You have one problem, I have another problem, and he has another problem. We ask personally why he can go, I got this and that. Even I myself also have some problem. I can say, still I have not completed my book, proof it. therefore I have to wait. This is the nature of life. So, these sayings, the lotus flower, is just like a person by realizing the nature of worldly, of the dirty and the wicked and harmful life, worldly life, try to get rid of, to come up from this dirty world and maintain peace and happiness and gain wisdom, finally the enlightenment and bliss, nibbanic bliss. After that, no more sufferings, no more problems, no more responsibilities, no more dirty things, no more crying, no more worrying. Free. The more we remain, the more we had to struggle with all these problems. I think enough for the day. Last Friday, what did you learn at the farm? Any sutra? Or can you remember? Announcement. What is your announcement? Imina punya kammena upajjaya gunottara acari upakaraca mata pita piya mamam Suryo Chandima Raja Gunavanta Narapicha Brahma Maharaja Indacha Lokapalacha Devata Yamo Mitta Manusacha Majjata Verikapicha Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu Punyani Pakatani Me Sukhancha Tividam Dentu Kipang Papeta Omatam Imina punya kammena Imina uddisena ca Hippahang sulabhe ceva Tannupadana cedanam Yesantane hina dhamma Yava nibbanato mamam Nassantu sabbada eva Yatta jato bhave bhave Uju citto sati pañño Sallekho viriya amina Maralabhantu nukasam Katunca viriyesu me Buddhadi pavaronato Dhammonato aruttamo Nato pacceka sambuddho Sangho nato taro mamam Tesottamanubhavena Maruka sanglabhantu ma